how important do you think that strength work is to building up a football, especially at younger ages? Because, like you said earlier, the most important thing is getting game time. But if you're injured on the sidelines, or if you're on the bench, then you can't get that. So, do you think the strength work is also almost as equally as important as the training that you do with your team?
Coaches do not understand the very importance of strength training because you are trying to make your player have the least injuries, because that's when the downfall happens, and that is when you start to be put to the side when you do have an injury. And that's what happened to me in Cyprus, and it was not a very nice experience, and they didn't know how to put me back into play. That is one of the most important things, because you are trying day after day to prevent an injury from happening, and strength training is the way to go, because you're not training as a bodybuilder, you're training as an athlete, and there's a big difference.
Exactly.
You're not
100%.
training to get big. You're training to basically withstand your opponent in a way.
Yeah. And what kind of injury did you have? How long were you out for?
Well, the funniest thing was, it was actually in training. A guy just went into me and hit my knee, and I ended up going to have an MRI, and I had bone marrow edema and a fractured kneecap, and it was swelling in my femur and my tibia, and they were saying,
Oh my gosh.
You're out for 7 months, 8 months, and you have to wear one of those ACL sort of casts.
Wow.
I came back in 6 because I was doing rehab on my own. If I wasn't, then I'd be out for 9, 10 months, 100%.
Okay, and what would be some maybe recovery things that you would say for footballers as well coming back from injuries? I know it's different for player to player as well, but what are some basic things that you were doing?
I'd say mainly just relax for a minute. You've got to breathe, because it's not the physical side that's the problem. It is the mental aspect. Then after 2-3 months, you've got to think, what can I do to strengthen my knee or whatever is wrong with you in the right way? So for me, I had to get a foam roller, put it under my leg, and I would tense my leg up, down, and I'd rest it. And then I'd carry on doing that. I'd also put one knee up, and I'd do these sort of weird movements to try and gain mobility back, because what the ACL cast did is it made my leg so stiff that my range of movement was so bad. So it was all a mental game.
Wow. And I think that is for a lot of athletes, which is what you just said, it's the mental, because all we want to do as athletes is kind of get back to our sport as quick as possible, and realizing that we're kind of unable to do that straight away, and it's kind of out of our control, that we actually just have to recover, and there are months and there is time that needs to happen before we can get back to playing. But I think, as you said, that's the most important part.